Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the official launch of the long-awaited Jim Steinman's Bat Out of Hell, the musical.
The musical, yes. Thank you for coming. Thank you for braving the cold as well.
Freezing cold out there. Some of you we know have been out there for hours, so thank you for enduring that. You are officially hard as nails. This is Wes, I'm Chris from Absolute Classic Rock. We play rock's greatest hits on digital radio. Some of you might listen to it. I expect probably about 1% of you in this room will. We are very excited to be here today though. We had a very good day on Thursday. We took over the station with this, played a ton of Meatloaf and had so many messages coming in. So this feels brilliant to be part of it here today and live with you.
So shortly we'll meet one of the producers of the musical, Tony Smith. He'll be here very shortly. He'll give us dates, venues, sponsor details. We'll meet the one and the only, let me get this right, Meatloaf. Now I'm going to try that again, okay, because he's through there and I want him to hear it, okay? We'll meet the one and the only Meatloaf. Yeah, that's more like it,
That's
okay?
it,
We
well
want that energy from you, and we'll see and we'll hear some of the songs that you can expect to see in the musical when it previews in February 2017.
Our first guest this afternoon is a producer called Tony Smith. You might know this name if you're a big rock and roll nerd. Tony has been the manager of Pink Floyd and Genesis, amongst others. The stories that this guy has accrued over 30 or 40 years of rock and roll, well, if you don't know them already, they ain't worth knowing. Ladies and gentlemen, Tony Smith.
Unfortunately, I'm not Meatloaf, but there you go.
Welcome, Tony. Tony, tell us about the musical. How did this come about?
Well, about 5 years ago, Michael Cole and I were working on Rock of Ages, the musical in London. And Michael said to me one day, he said, he had a call from Jim Steinman. I said, yeah. He said, yeah. He said he's seen all this stuff I've been doing with the Rolling Stones and with Spider-Man on Broadway, and he's decided he wants me to be the producer for his musical, Bat Out of Hell, the musical. And at that point, I sort of thought, well, I can't resist this either. I've got to be involved with this. And having been with managing Genesis and 12 years or so with Pink Floyd now, I couldn't resist it. You know, it was yet another opportunity to work with an iconic piece of music, an iconic album. And so that's where we started. Of course, Jim is now really keen to see his dream come true after 40 years of trying to get this off the ground.
Yeah.
And he's very happy with that.
I can imagine that if you develop a dream as a teenager going into your early 20s, that's quite the payoff, some delayed gratification.
Well, it is. I mean, you know,
40
as Jim started writing this as a student, as you may know, and it was originally called Neverland.
Yeah.
And it gradually morphed into what is now Bat Out of Hell, the musical. But it's taken a long time.
its current incarnation, a lot of work has got us to this stage. How long would you say this has taken to become from the idea to let's do this to we have a script, we have a show?
Well, as I say, we started talking about it and working on it with David Sonnenberg, who's Jim's manager, who's also on board as a producer. Sort of a long time ago now, probably 6-7 years ago. I came on board about 5 years ago when Michael got involved, and then about a year ago we managed to put together. We found the right script.
Yep.
And then we found this really talented director, Jay Schreiber, and at that point we put together a workshop and. In New York about a year ago, this time last year. And at that we realised, once we heard that, we realised we'd got something, we'd got the right book, we'd got the right director, we've got the right songs, and we'd also found with Mike Reed, our musical supervisor, and Andrew Pollock, we'd found our star and our music man, and we decided we're off and running.
Go.
I was going to say, from what we heard before through a run-through, you've got it there. You've nailed it already.
Well,
It's
not me
nailed.
personally.
But we want to see this. We want to see the musical. Where can we see it? When can we see
Well,
it?
that's the next step. You know, finally, the last brick in the wall, as it were, was that excuse the pun.
Pink Floyd reference there.
Well done, well
You used to co-manage them, though, you know.
But the last thing to come into place was Randy Lennox at Bell Media came along and fully financed the whole thing, and then we're off and running, greenlit the whole thing. And you know, we're now looking to open here in Manchester. We decided really that Manchester, given its music history, was the place to open this show and have it as a
You agree, right?
so, you know, we decided it was a no-brainer really to bring it here as a world premiere, and we're going to do a limited season here starting on the 17th of February. Tickets are on sale right now.
At the Opera House. At the Opera House.
You can go on to batoutofhellmusical.com, and then it's going to be a limited season here, then we move it to London in June.
Sure. Well, we've got coming up in around about 2 or 3 minutes' time a taster of that exact raucous noise that you're going to hear from Bat Out of Hell the musical. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Tony Smith.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tony. One of the producers, Tony Smith. Now, just ahead of that, we were here fortunate to see the run-through earlier on, and it is incredible. So you'll see and you'll hear some of the songs in Bat Out of Hell the musical very shortly. But first of all, we have to welcome onto the stage the one and the only, we want lots and lots of noise, Meatloaf!
Oh my God!
Come through here. We sorted you out this seat. There he is.
Oh my God!
Okay,
Oh
let me put it
my
like
God.
this. I don't mean to correct Tony Smith. Of all people, I don't mean to correct Tony Smith. He is a true legend. Pink Floyd, Genesis, still manages Phil